This week, we look at Hollard's latest acquisition of UMA's Aquarius and Execuline, the Department of Health reconsiders medical aid's obligations, and we look at the risk of cyber attacks on medical devices. Welcome to RISKSA TV News. I'm Sarah Bassett. Insurer Hollard announced on Wednesday its purchase of longtime partners Aquarius Underwriting Managers and Execuline Motor Underwriting Managers. Both Drew Schneehager, Managing Director of Aquarius, and Alan Eustace, Managing Director of Execuline, will become part of Hollard's management team. We speak to Drew about the acquisition.
We started the discussions in 2013 already into the first line division by August, September this year. We are looking at creating a broker desk, service desk for our current broker model to make sure that we still have a continued relationship with the existing brokers and obviously growing new brokers. I am very excited about it. I've already been involved in it for the last 4 months. In setting up the new product. So we're trying to bring the look and feel and everything the way that we do things in Aquarius Execuline into the new Hollard first line space.
South Africa's Department of Health is considering changing legislation that currently requires medical aid schemes to pay in full for the treatment of certain medical conditions, irrespective of how much the service provider charges. Anton Pretorius has more.
The regulation proposed by the Health Department states that medical schemes must reimburse members in full for the cost of all emergency medical treatments, as well as the treatment for 26 chronic diseases and 270 conditions. The proposed change in the law could potentially remove the incentive for schemes to negotiate with suppliers of medical services for better prices. Wits Professor Alex van der Heever explains.
And you could suddenly be left with 100,000 rand out-of-pocket payment because of what the medical schemes will do is that they have an incentive to try and pay out as little as possible. And they will compete on that basis because once one scheme starts doing it, the others have to. So what you will end up having is only finding out what you're not covered for when you have a serious medical incident. That is very problematic, and the legislation needs to deal with the possibility of bad behavior by doctors through other means. It can't do it by transferring that risk to patients. You can't manage it. That's why you have insurance.
Staying with medical, Fortinet Africa has revealed that the black market for healthcare data is up to 20 times more valuable than that of credit card data. The company added that this could open up medical devices for cyber attack. Luca Vraka reports.
Perry Hutton, Regional Director of Fortinet Africa, has warned that the black market for healthcare data is up to 20 times more valuable than that for credit card data, and your health monitoring wearable devices and apps are at risk. This is because personal information in healthcare data is so comprehensive, it serves as a prime target for identity theft and fraud.
It makes the whole thing that much more, reason to be concerned. And I'm not for a minute saying this is going on at the moment. It's all we're highlighting is that this is a very good example of where we really need to be cognizant of whether the checks and balances are in place, because this can happen tomorrow.
These technologies are transmitting patient information all of the time and are usually inadequately protected. They often interface directly with other devices, clinical data systems, and electronic health records. As these devices are designed for convenience and functionality rather than security, Hutton says it shows how badly exposed healthcare institutions really are. Luca Vraka, RISKSA TV News, Cape Town.
And finally, Europe's power operators are bracing for potential disruption as a result of today's solar eclipse. The event is expected to knock out a number of solar power stations across the continent, with Germany and Spain expected to be the hardest hit. The sudden drop-off in production could reach 34,000 megawatts, the equivalent of 80 medium-sized conventional power plants. To the people of Europe, we here at RISKSA TV News would just like to say, welcome to load shedding! Over to Angelique Edwards with this week's events.
Welcome to this week's events roundup. First up, the Investment Forum was held in Sun City this week. The theme this year is Seeing is Believing and features some fantastic St. Patrick's Day celebrations. It was emceed by CNBC Africa's Lindsay Williams. The event looks at asset allocation, balanced funds, and a global macroeconomic overview. Other speakers included Stanlip's Kevin Lings and co-founder of Fund House, Rory Maguire. RISKSA's Michael Kaufman and the folk in Johannesburg are looking very forward to the IG inaugural dinner in Blank tonight at a secret location. And for this week's birthday announcements, a very happy birthday goes out to Marguerite McGrath from the IG and Amanda Thomas from King Price. That's it from me. Catch us again next week for another episode of RISKSA TV News.